I'm Laurel, and I'm a personal stylist here in Austin, and I work with men and women to help them align who they are on the inside with the clothes that they wear on the outside. I was living in Brooklyn, and I was working in a hospital in the Bronx, which, to anyone who has ever lived or visited New York, it's like the longest commute that you could make maybe in New York, besides Staten Island. And it was hard on me, like physically, mentally, all of that. But I loved my job. Eventually, it was time to sort of like make life easier. And I moved to Austin for quality of life reasons. And I was a social worker here for a little while, but I didn't really know anyone. And social work, especially the type that I was doing, was super isolating because I was driving to different homes all the time. And while I got to know Austin, I did not really get to know anyone like me. So I started a blog, and through that, I met a whole bunch of people. And it kind of opened up my world in an awesome way. And eventually, I realized that I wanted to transition out of social work, but still work with people in some capacity. And I kind of stumbled upon personal styling and met someone who basically took me under her wing and showed me her process, and I was totally hooked after that. I guess the biggest challenge transitioning from social work to personal styling is just kind of calling myself a personal stylist. Like one day I wake up and I'm a personal stylist. So it was a lot of slowly built confidence that I had to develop over just like building my business. And it was very hard in the beginning. You get a lot of people that are like, you can make money doing that, like a lot of doubters, but it sort of just made me want to do it even more. And I think the other challenge is just like running a business instead of just going to a job and getting a paycheck. You really have to do all this other stuff besides the creative work in order to do the creative work. And that to me has been one of the biggest challenges for sure. I think that what happened was I just started meeting more people and doing more, like being open to a lot more opportunities and saying yes to a lot of stuff, because I guess it's always been a process of like knowing what to say yes and what to say no to. And the uniform design and consulting came along. I met the manager of the Four Seasons through his wife who I styled, and they needed new uniforms, and then I started doing a little styling for them, and then they redid their restaurant, and I got connected with Mr. and Mrs. Soadal, who does tailoring and a lot of like custom aprons. And when we met each other, we were just like, yay! Like we just collaborate really well together, and we did the trio restaurant head to toe design together, and then most recently we did the new Westin downtown, the restaurant Stylist and Jack. We did their uniforms, and it's a totally different process, but it's really fun and creative, and I love working with Chris from Mr. and Mrs. Sodal. So it's just a nice like thing to do on the side. My main process when working with clients is to really get to know them as a person, first thing, and build trust, because I basically go into a stranger's closet, ask them to take their clothes off and try on everything they own. So they have to feel comfortable. I ask a lot of questions up front about like what their style is, what they would want their style to be, what their lifestyle is, and do they feel like their style either helps their life or hinders them from getting their goals met. A lot of times there's a misalignment, and that's why they call me. But I go into their home, I work with them inside their closet. I usually ask them, like, what happens when you get dressed in the morning? What's that process like? And then it sort of just flows from there. I kind of look at every single piece of clothing that they have. We talk about what works, what doesn't work. I create a shopping list, and from there I'll pull from a few different stores in our second session, and they'll meet me, and I'll have them not shop, but just go straight to the dressing room, try the stuff on, and see how far we can kind of push them towards a style that feels like maybe different than what they've always done, but more them. And so for every single person I work with, it's totally different. And then we take the new clothes back to the closet, and I make outfits with their old and their new stuff so that they have like stuff to wear for every different part of their life. I have this, I have access to this digital lookbook that's interactive, and I've started implementing it with my current clients, and it's kind of like this cool combination of Pinterest, a photo album, and Polyvore, like all in one program. So people can upload items that they own for me to style, and I can upload things for them to purchase, and we can make outfits with the clothes that they have, new clothes, and it's totally personalized and easy, and it's a fun new toy that I have been playing with. You know, it really didn't start, it comes and goes even still, because you're really depending on the whim of a bunch of people that you don't know yet to hire you or not hire you each month. But I think a big turning point for me was I worked with a really awesome business coach last summer, and she helped me really like solidify what my goals were, the exact types of people I wanted to work with, and just getting stronger in owning what it is that I do and knowing that it has a really great value for people. And some people will never get it, and the people that do will benefit a whole lot from what I can help them with. But yeah, going full-time was terrifying. You can never just get comfortable, like when it's busy. You can't just be like, yay, I have a client today. Like, I'm gonna just like do my work, come home and watch TV, catch up with the housewives. You can't. You have to constantly be like thinking about how you're gonna get your next client and your next client after that, and marketing yourself, talking about yourself all the time. It's not a natural thing, and overcoming the fear of feeling really salesy in your approach to providing service, I think has been a really big challenge too. I think the biggest fear was I didn't want to have to try to get another job. Like I wanted to make my own thing work, and I think wanting it so bad and just really pushing to meet as many people as I can and get my message out there has been like what has made it happen. But it's like, I can't tell you one thing, because it was just like, some months I feel like I'm owning it, and then other months I'm like, let's see, who needs a stylist? My approach, like I just like hated going to those big networking events. Like before I knew anyone in Austin, I would go to these and I would feel like a fish out of water. Like, who are all these people? Like I just felt like totally different, and I didn't feel like anyone got me. And then I realized the best thing to do for me, for someone who's like a little intimidated in those big groups initially, finding someone that you feel like you can connect with just on a one-to-one. And I started just asking people that I thought were interesting out for coffee and networking with them that way. And I know it sounds like a real slow process, but I feel like when you're doing a business that's so personal, it's more effective to get your message across like one by one, because they have a whole network that they can tell people about if you do connect. But yeah, I didn't get how you're supposed to go into a group and be like, hi, I'm a stylist, let's talk. You know, it seems so uncomfortable to me. Don't like it. Don't give up. Basically, trust your instincts. Like if everything is telling you you should be doing this and you feel amazing when you're doing the work, like don't get discouraged because it takes a long time. I mean, it took me 5 years to get to this point, and I wanted to quit a bunch of times just because it was so hard. But every time I would get to that place, something would happen where I was like, I'm supposed to keep doing this. And just having that great feeling when you're doing the work, like that's enough. And you just need to figure out like what is the most challenging part and ask for help on that. Like reaching out to somebody else is always like a hard thing to do, but that can kind of make or break your business, I think.